Hi everyone. So today's mixed media morsel is number 19 and we're going to do a silhouette. I've got my page here ready to go, and I'm going to be painting a background, but before I do that I wanted to show you, when you're working in an art journal, you don't necessarily have to have stencils or special items like masks or things like that to create silhouette images. I know a lot of them are out there for sale, but you don't really have to have those. And I'm going to show you just an easy way today to do a silhouette without using a stencil, and you'll still have a shape to use, and you can choose any shape you want, any kind of image. You can use a person, or in my case I'm going to use a bird. And actually what this is a it's an item, it's a home decor item, and I'm going to show you right now a picture of the image that I clipped out of the catalog. All right, and I took that image and I cut out one of the birds. Okay, so this is the little bird that I cut out, and he's going to go on my page. And what I'm going to end up doing here is painting this bird black, so it's a dark silhouette against a bright sky. Okay, and one thing that's kind of cool about cutting out an image from a magazine is I really wanted my bird, I actually need to trim his leg here a little bit. I actually wanted my bird to be facing the other way, so I'm just going to turn it over and face it the other way. There's no detail in a silhouette image, and so it doesn't matter. Anything that's on the front side doesn't matter. And so I'm just going to turn it over because I kind of wanted him facing this way. All right, and so let's do that first, and it can be drying. So I'm going to paint the back side because that's the side I want to use. This will work. Any old black paint. I'm just using craft paints today. Just put a little bit here. You really won't, I won't need a lot because it's such a small image. So I'm just going to coat it in black, and then we're going to let it dry while we work on the background. It'll curl a little bit, but it'll be okay. Once it's dry, it'll be fine. Okay, that's all I need right there. And I think I'm gonna pick it up with some tweezers just to move it. I don't want to take any paint away with my fingers. I'll just leave them right up here to dry. Okay. So you see how that a lot of times you would use a stencil to make an image like that, but I just cut that out of a magazine, you know, and it's a perfect little image. All right, so now we can get started on the background, and I'm just going to make a water and sky sort of scene, so I can put my little bird, just put him on a little scene. You certainly don't have to do a scene. If you choose not to, you can just do a background, but the idea is to make a bright background for the silhouette to be against. But honestly, you can do it any way you want to, any way that's appealing to you, that's something that you like. That's what you should do. So I've got a couple of shades of blues here that I'm going to use for waters and skies, and I'm just going to play around a little bit. Let's see. I don't know if I want to keep these lines on the page. I kind of think I don't this time, so I'm going to use a little gesso and see if I can white those out. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more. And while I'm doing this, I need to clarify something. On the last morsel video I did, I was talking about putting Mod Podge on your surface, and I said that it created a porous surface, and it does not create a porous surface. It creates a non-porous surface. And I know that, and I don't know why I kept saying porous, except for that my mind must have been somewhere else. You know, it goes on vacation from time to time. But I went back and put a little annotation, a little note on the video, but it shows up, it should show up if you're watching the video on a computer, but if you're watching on a mobile device, you can't see that clarification. So I just didn't want to lead anybody the wrong way and, you know, have you calling things the wrong things. But when you put Mod Podge on a surface, it makes it a non-porous surface. So just wanted to be clear on that. And apologize for that silly error. Okay. And those of you who ask me how I keep my paper from curling, I don't. See, it curls just like everybody else's. But I'm just always going to the edge of my table and dragging it opposite the way it's curling. I drag it against the straight edge of my table here, and it flattens it out. I've got another video where I show that, and I'll put a little link in an iCard up here for you. If you haven't seen that yet, it shows it better. My camera doesn't quite cover to the edge of my desk, so you can't see what I'm doing right now, but if you want to know what I'm doing, just check out that video, because it certainly works to, for the most part, straighten out your papers. Okay, so now we've got the gesso on, so now I can start putting the color on. And I'm just going to use, like I said, a couple of different shades of the blues that I have here. And put a little bit more of this one. Okay. Now when you're doing a water and a sky, you want to make sure you have a straight horizon line. So I'm actually going to use, I guess, one of these lines that I can still see just a little bit. I can still see them just a little bit. So I'll use that to have my straight line there for my horizon. And I think I'll also use a just a little piece of scrap paper. Okay, so let's say I'm going to use this line right here, maybe this one. All right, I'll just use this piece of paper here like a mask, and I will just start making my sky above this line. If I can get it on there. It's hard to see that line now. I must have done a good job with the gesso. Okay, so I'm going to just hold that there, and I'm going to brush against, away from the edge, in other words, not towards the edge of this paper, but going that way, away from the edge. Okay. I'm going to just use a little of this, two of these colors, the green and the blue. I just went toward the edge by mistake. I might have scooted under there, but it's okay because I am going to put water underneath there, and it's going to be the blue colors. So that's all right. Yeah, it did go under just a bit, but that's okay. Like I said, it'll be fine. All right, so now I can, now I'll go on with my sky stuff here. take this lighter, this lighter greenish blue, and just putting some here and there, just little wavy kind of lines. And I'm going to do the same thing with the darker blue. And I'm going to water it down just a little bit. Do the same thing. Leaving some of the green to show through and some of the white also to show through. And gives it a little bit of a look of movement. Okay. All right. I'm going to leave that for just a minute. And I've got some paint here that needs to be cleaned up. Let me just put it in my unwasted paint book. Okay, so we got paint all over that page. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back in. I do want to get a little bit more white here because I want to make give the sky a little bit more definition, put a few more little cloud type, you know, areas. Okay. All right. That's a pretty good cloudy sky. And so now I'm just going to put my silhouette image. He's going to be standing in the water right about here. I think that looks so cool, and the contrast of the bright sky and the dark bird looks awesome. Okay, so I'm going to use a little Mod Podge for that. I'm just using matte Mod Podge. All right, so we're going to just put a little bit of the Mod Podge on the back of the bird. And just remember that if you're using a small page like what I'm using, your image is probably going to be kind of small, so it might be fiddly and fussy just a little bit, but it'll be worth it. worth it once you get it glued in place. And just go ahead and lift that with the tweezers again. I wanted to pick it up by its head, or its beak though. There we go. But he's got to be straight. There. It looks like a little bit of the paint came off. A little on the leg and a little tiny bit on the beak. So I'm going to just take a little marker, black marker, and cover that. And then do the Mod Podge on top. Now, if you can draw, you can certainly draw or paint your image also onto your background. But if you don't feel confident yet in your drawing skills, then just cut an image out. This is a simple kind of image that you probably could draw. I just saw it and decided to go ahead and cut it out. Actually, I had chosen a different bird, and it ended up being a little bit too big for this size page, so I'm going to maybe use it on a different page in the future. I was thinking about giving him just a little bit of, or putting just a little bit of shadow in the water, or, you know, on the surface of the water there for the bird. And put a little bit of water in that, and let's see if that will make a nice shadow. Depends on where my light is coming from. We'll just say it's coming from overhead, and so we'll just make a little bit of a shadowy area around. Let's try it again. That's good. I like that. Okay, because the bird here is looking up, I decided to use that as the words for my page. And I want to say, keep looking up. So I did print out a couple of different sizes of the phrase and a couple of different fonts to see which ones are going to work best for my page. And I wanted to show you how I seal this. I printed this out, and then I used my heat gun, and I kind of set that ink so it's dried real good on the page. hopefully. Now, sometimes with a darker font where there's more ink, like this one, it can smear, okay, because this is an inkjet printer that I'm using. But on sometimes when it's not so dark and it's, you know, more just a different font, maybe thinner lettering, it does better. So I'm just going to take a little bit of, this is the matte gel, okay, and it's thick and creamy. It's not wet like Mod Podge. It's just thick and creamy. And I'm just going to take this and go over the words here to seal it, and then that way I can put it on the page, put Mod Podge over it, and it won't smear or mess up. But this will keep it. My brush got a little hard sitting here. This will keep it, and you don't want to do too much. Just you want to put it on there and let it go, because it'll smear if you keep fiddling with it. I might have fiddled with that one a little too long. And the fact that my brush got so hard isn't helping anything. Let's get a soft brush. Let's use this little brush. Okay. We'll try it again. That brush was way too stiff. Okay, so I'm just putting a little on and leaving it. It smeared a little. I can see it just a bit, but it's not anything too bad. This one may smear. Let's see what happens. Okay, it didn't do too bad. All right, so now I'm just going to let this dry and go over it, or I mean cut them out. Decide which one I like the best, and then cut it out and go from there. We'll attach it to the page. Okay. I think I like the size of this one. But I'm going to cut it apart, and then I'll be able to decide. I printed this out on just some plain white cardstock. All right, this is the way it looks with the letters all together. I mean, with the words all together in one lump. But I do kind of like to cut them apart, spread them out a little, so I think I will do that. But it's always best to check in case you want to leave them as one while you've got it in one piece, because you can't put it back together once it's cut. All right, so I'm going to use that one. And this one, maybe like this. So now decide which way I want to kind of like that. Could also go this way. Kind of looks good either way. All right, I think I'll stick with that way. And then I'll have these others in case I want to use them on another page or an index card or something like that. All right, so I'm going to get these glued on. I'm going to use a little of my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. Like that. It's looking up. Okay. Gonna go ahead and ink the edge with my StazOn ink, just to frame it out. Yeah, I love that. So simple and yet so effective. I love that. All right, I'm going to let that dry, that ink on the edge dry, and the glue here dry for a few minutes, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to outline the words, and I think we'll call it done. Easy way to make a silhouette image. All right, guys, I'm looking forward to seeing yours as always, and I appreciate you watching and following along, and we'll be back again for another video soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.